So some terminology about angles. So all today we're talking about angles, how to draw angles, maybe some in a different way that you've seen before. An angle is formed by the intersection of what? How do we get an angle? Two what? Two sides, two lines. Okay, so the intersection of, when you have two lines that intersect, that's what forms an angle. Okay, the point of intersection is called the what of that angle. Starts with V, the vertex. Okay, see how easy this goes, guys? Okay. An angle with a measure of 180 degrees. First of all, if it's 180 degrees, what does it look like? What is that? That's a what? Straight line. So this is called a straight angle. And I'll have to kick you out of class if you don't know this one. An angle with a measure of 90 degrees is a what? Right angle. An angle with a measure between 0 and 90 is called what? Acute. So that is a acute angle. An angle between 90 and 180. Someone last year called it an obese angle, but the actual word is obtuse. Okay. So it is an obtuse angle. If two positive angles add to be 90, we say those angles are what to each other? Complementary. So those are complementary angles. If two positive angles add to be 180, they're called what? Supplementary angles. Okay. See, you guys already knew all of this. Now, we're going to start drawing angles, and most all of the angles we're going to draw here we're calling standard position. So I'm not sure how much of this you may have seen before, but if you just get used to the nomenclature, it should be okay. So an angle will be drawn in standard position. It's going to have an initial side and a terminal side. Okay, so the initial side is going to be right here. Okay, so that is my initial side. Now, if you notice some of the word problems, I can have a 30-degree angle up here. I can have the triangle rotated different ways. But we're going to just, for the purposes of most of what we do from now on, we're going to have angles in standard position. That means the initial side here, and then I'll draw a terminal side. Okay, so if I were to draw an angle a 45-degree angle, okay, then this side right here is called the terminal side. So the initial side is at 0, and the terminal side is wherever I stop to draw the angle, okay? So if I were to draw an angle from here to here, the terminal side would be at 90 degrees, okay? Now when you look at this, this divides everything up into 4 quadrants. Do you know how to number the quadrants? Yeah, this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. If you don't like Roman numerals, you can just call them 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So we will use that extensively between now and when we end up. Okay? Now the way we measure angles, there's a difference. So between positive angles and negative angles. Okay? An angle whose terminal side is found by traveling counterclockwise. What does counterclockwise mean? It's going, some of you may not have experience with a clock, but the clock goes this way, right? Counterclockwise is the other direction. So if it goes counterclockwise, that's how we measure a positive angle. If its terminal side is found by going clockwise, that's how we measure a negative angle. So if you look at these right here, if I were to do something like this, what direction did I go from the initial to the terminal? Clockwise or counterclockwise? Here's the initial, here's the terminal. I went counterclockwise, so this is a positive 45-degree angle. Okay. To draw a negative 45-degree angle, you start here at the initial side and you go in this direction. So that is negative. That's a negative 45-degree angle. Okay. So if you measure counterclockwise, that's positive. Clockwise, when you measure that, that is a negative angle. Okay. So let's draw a few angles. Okay, with this one we've done several times. 45-degree angle. The initial side is right here. And you can get to where you probably don't even have to draw the initial side, but the more important is the terminal side. So 45 is halfway between 0 and 90, right? So that is a 45-degree angle. Okay. How do I draw a 405-degree angle? Now some people say, like, why would you even have a 405-degree angle? What if you had a car and the tire was rotating? Does it rotate more than one time? Yeah, so 360 is one rotation. So we study things in mathematics that go through rotations. So 720 would be 2 rotations, okay? So you can sort of get used to counting by 90. So 90, 180, 270. What's the next number here? 360, okay. So 0 and 360, you have the same terminal side. Now how much further do I have to go to get to 405? I'm at 360. I need to go 45 more. So the way we will draw this angle is something like this. Okay, so I went all the way around one time. Come on, guys. All this means is I started at 0. I went to 90. I had not gone far enough. I got to 180. I hadn't got there. 270. 360. I had not gone far enough. I had to go 45 more to get to 405 degrees. So that's a 405-degree angle. Okay, so I went 360, but I needed to go 45 more. So if you look at 360 plus 45, that's 405 degrees. Okay. What about a negative 315-degree angle? Okay, I start here, but which way do I go? I go clockwise. So this is, when I get here, that's negative 90, right? When I get to here, I've gone to negative what? 180. When I get up to here, that's negative 270. When I get back over to here, that's negative 360. But I've gone too far, right? So negative 90, negative 180, negative 270. Okay, how much further do I need to go to get to 315? I need to go, what, 35 or 45 more, right? Yeah, so this angle is like this. Okay, so that's my initial side. That's my terminal side. So this is a negative 315-degree angle. Okay, so you count by 90s and you find out where you are. 765. Okay, I start at 0, 90, 180, 270. What's the next number here? 360. Okay, what would it be if I went around? So 360 is 1 revolution, right? What is 2 revolutions? 720. Okay, how much further do I need to go from 720 to get to 765? 45. So this one, I go 1 revolution, I go around again, and there we are. So that is my 765-degree angle. So it went 2 complete revolutions, that's 720, and then if I go 45 more, that's 765. What's the angle from here to here? 45 degrees, okay? I went 720, and then I went 45 more to get to 765. Okay, end of the day, or this just not gelling? I'm trying to figure this out. This is arithmetic, okay? So not a lot of trig yet, okay? So let's look at a couple of things. Complementary angles add to what? 90. So if an angle is 45, what is its complementary angle? 45. You've got that. Supplementary angles add to what? 180. If I have a 45-degree angle, what is the supplementary angle? Yeah, 135. 92. Okay, is there a positive angle I can add and get 90? No. So there is no complementary angle to that. Is there a positive angle I can add to get to 180? What is that? 88? So 88 degrees, that's the supplementary angle. Is there a positive angle I can add here to get 90? No. What do I add to get 180? So I add what? 60, 55, right? 55 degrees. 14, what do I add to get to 90? 76, is that right? And then what do I add to get to 180? 166. 135, is there a complementary angle? No. What's the supplementary angle? Yeah, 45, that's what I have to do to add to get to 180. 90 degrees, what's the complementary angle? 0 is what I add to get 90. What do I add to get 180? 90 degrees, okay? Okay, pretty straightforward, just the definition of complementary and supplementary. Okay, so what I want to do now, I want to draw a few angles, and I want to identify in which quadrant the terminal side of the angle lies, okay? So, 45-degree angle. Always start at 0. Is that positive or negative? Positive. Which way am I going to go? Clockwise, counterclockwise? Counterclockwise for positive. So 45 degrees is going to put me right there, okay? What quadrant is that terminal side in? Quadrant 1, okay? 405. So to measure a 405, if I go all the way around, one revolution is how many? 360. How much further do I have to go to get to 405? 45 more. So this angle makes one revolution, and then it goes right there. Okay, so that's the 405-degree angle. In what quadrant is the terminal side of that angle? Quadrant 1. Negative 135. See if you can draw that and see where is that quadrant, where is that going to end up? Yeah, quadrant 3. So negative 135. Start at 0, but I'm going to have to move in the clockwise direction. So when I get from here to here, this is negative 90. That's negative 180. So negative 135 is before I get there. So it's somewhere right here. So that's a negative 135 degree, and that is what quadrant? Quadrant 3. Okay. Negative 210 degrees. So anytime you have negative, I've given you the labels for positive, but to go in a negative direction, that's negative 90. That's negative 180. That's negative 270. That's negative 360. Okay. I just flip the numbers around. So where will negative 210 be? Yeah. Here is, if I start here, this is negative 180. I've got to go, what, 30 more to get there. So that's negative 210 degrees. That puts me in quadrant 2. Okay, pretty straightforward. Have you seen this before or no? Okay, just wasn't sure how far you went with this in geometry. Okay, so, I mean, the big things, we always start with our angles. 0 is this side of the x-axis, okay? If I'm measuring positive angles, I go counterclockwise. Negative angles, I go clockwise, okay? 1 revolution is what? 360. And you'll get used to 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. And you can add 90 to that 450. You can get used to counting by 90s as you go, or you can use your calculator to figure out what that is. Now, one important thing, let's see, I've got a couple more to draw. Negative 330, okay? First of all, what's a complete revolution? 360. So this is less than a revolution, right? So here's 0, minus 90, minus 180, minus 270, minus 360. Where's negative 330 going to put me? Quadrant 1, right? So I'm going to start here, go in a negative direction, and instead of getting to 360, I'm going to be how far shy of it? 30 degrees shy of that. So something like this. So that is a negative 330 degrees, and that is in quadrant 1. 750 degrees, okay? First of all, what's 1 revolution? 360. What's 2 revolutions? 720. So this is more than 2 revolutions, right? So that's 360. That's 720. How much further do I have to go? I have to go 30 more, okay? So that puts me somewhere right here. That is a 750 degree angle. It ends in what quadrant? Quadrant 1. Okay? So this is just the terminology of how we measure angles. We always start at 0. Positive angles go counterclockwise. Negative angles go clockwise. Now, the reason we do this is because when you look at angles, a 750 degree angle is going to behave a lot like a 30 degree angle, because a 750 degree angle is 2 revolutions plus how much? Right, so it's going to behave like a 30 degree angle, okay? So what we say is if angles have the same terminal side, we say that they are coterminal, okay? So for example, I could draw a 30 degree angle. If I add 360 to it, where do I end up? I end up at the same spot, right? If I go another 360, every time I add 360, I end up at the same spot. So these are angles that are coterminal. They have the same terminal side. So what I want to figure out is, let's practice finding coterminal angles. Angles between 0 and 360 that have the same terminal side as this one, okay? So first of all, I need to draw 520, okay? So this is 0, 90, 180, 270. What's the next number here? What, 360? Okay. So I've got to keep going. What's after 360? When I get 90 more is what? What's 90 plus 360? 450, okay? What's 90 plus 450? That's 540, okay? So that's a little bit too far, right? Okay. So what's going to happen is this angle is going to be 1 complete revolution, that's 360, 450, and then how much further do I have to go? I've got to go 70 more, okay? So somewhere right here, that is a 520 degree angle, okay? Does everyone see that? So I went 360, add 90, I get 450, I had to add 70 more, okay? Now, let's look at this angle. What is the angle from here to here? I was at 450. What did I have to add to get to 520? 70. If that's 70, what's this one? If this is 70, okay, guys, 450. Okay, does everyone agree if I started here, went all the way around, I would be at 450? Okay, what do I have to add to get to 520? 70. So If the angle from here is 70, what do you know about the angle from here to here, this angle? That's 9. If this is 70, what's this one? That's 20, okay? So, can you name an angle that looks just like this, that's between 0 and 120, between 0 and 360? 170, okay? Does everyone? Not 170, 160. Okay? So guys, here's what we did. This is 450. I had to add 70 to get to here. That makes this angle 20. Okay? What is this angle from here to here? This angle plus this angle have to add to be what? 180. What angle can you add to get to 20 to get 180? 160. So a 160 degree angle is coterminal with a 520. Okay? They're the same coterminal angle. So a 520 ends right here. Also the 160 ends right there too. Okay, so guys, there's arithmetic involved with this. Okay, if you need a calculator, go ahead and make that part of your strategy. Let's look at a 440 degree angle. Is that more than a revolution? Yeah, so if I look at this angle, if I go 1 revolution, that's how much? 360. How much further do I need to go? I need to go 80 more. So in this case, so that's my 440 degree angle. So it's 360 plus 80, right? Okay. Now, what angle also ends right there that's between 0 and 360? It's pretty easy, this one. An 80 degree angle. Guys, can you see that an 80 degree angle would end right there? Okay. So the coterminal is an 80 degree angle. So all I'm saying is you draw this angle, and wherever it stops, think of another angle that would stop right there, an angle between 0 and 360, okay? There are infinite number of angles that look like this. I can add 360, add 360, add 360 all day long and keep coming up with angles that end right here, okay? Every time I go a revolution, I've got another angle that ends in that same spot, okay? But I'm looking for the angles between 0 and 360 that do that. Okay, negative 275. This is 0. What is this number here if I'm going in a negative direction? This is what? That's negative 90. What's this? Negative 180. Negative 270. So how much further do I have to go to get to negative 275? I need to go 5 more degrees. So this is the negative 275. If that is 5, what is this angle right here? That's 85 degree angle. So 85 degrees is coterminal with negative 275. They have the same terminal or ending side. $400. It's a positive angle. Is it more than a revolution? Is it more than 1 revolution? Okay, so 1 revolution is how many? 360. How much further do I have to go? Okay, I'm at 360. 360. How much further do I have to go to get to 400? 40. Okay, so this is that's my 400 degree angle. And what is this angle right here, from here to here? That's 40, okay? So what angle is coterminal with 400? 40. I don't know where the 60 is coming from. So a 40 degree angle, okay? So if I went all the way 1 revolution, that's 360. Well, I want to go to 400, so I have to go 40 more. That's my 400 degree angle. Now, what angle looks just like this that has a number between 0 and 360? Well, that looks just like a 40 degree angle, okay? Now, the reason this is important is because later you're going to have to find something like the sine of 400 degrees without a calculator. Well, if you can say it's the same thing as the sine of 40, okay? If you can reduce it to something you know, that's how you're going to work on that, okay? So you've got to be real comfortable with taking these larger degree angles, breaking them down into an angle that's coterminal. 720 degrees, okay? okay? So that's what? That's 2 revolutions. So that's 360. That's right here, okay? So that's a 720 degree angle, okay? That's coterminal with what? Yeah, 0 or 360, okay? That's the same as a 0 or a 360 degree angle, okay? Because they have the same terminal side. Where's the terminal side? What quadrant here? Yeah, this is quadrant 1. This is not in a quadrant. It's on the quadrant boundary, okay? If you look at the others that we did, what quadrant did this one end up in? Let's call it 2. What about this one? Quadrant 1. This one, quadrant 1, okay? And we've got a few more before we're done. Okay, 235. Okay, 235 is a positive, so I start here and go which direction? Counterclockwise. So that's 90, 180. So 235 is going to be how much further after 80? Yeah. So this is my 235 degree angle. Okay. So I went to 180, and how much further did I have to go? I had to go 55 more degrees. Okay. So now, what is an angle between 0 and 180 that also stops in this same place? Excuse me, between 0 and 360. Yeah, I mean, it's 235, okay? That's the only angle between 0 and 360. Margaret's looking at me like, okay, if I'm at 230, okay, 235, 0, 90, 180, 270. Do you agree that it has to be somewhere between these two numbers? Okay. How much further from 180 is 235? It's 55 degrees more, okay? Now, is there another angle between 0 and 360 that stops right here? It's 235. That's all there is, okay? Okay. What we were doing before is I had something like 400. So 400 goes around one time and then it goes 40 more. So that's the same as a 40 degree angle, okay? Now there are many other angles that stop right here. I can add 360 to this, add 720 to this, keep adding 360, and I get angles that are coterminal. I can go in negative directions to get negative angles that are coterminal. So I think we have 2 more and we're done. Okay, 135. So someone tell me what quadrant that angle will be in. Second quadrant. So it means you go to 90, and how much further after 90 do you have to go? Yeah, okay. So that's 135 degrees, okay? And this is only coterminal with 135 degrees. I'm saying the only number between 0 and 360 that this is coterminal with is 135. Okay, I can add 360 to it and get another coterminal, add another 360, okay? Let's look about this one, negative 45. I start here, but which way do I go? Clockwise, okay? So this angle is going to be like this. That's negative 45 degrees, okay? Is there an angle? So this is in the 4th quadrant. Is there an angle between 0 and 360 that ends right here? So what's the angle that does this? That's what I'm looking for. It's 180, 270, and how many more? 270 plus 45 is what? 315. So the coterminal is 315, okay? So guys, with coterminal, you're just looking for another angle that has the same terminal side. And for purposes of this, we're basically saying, let's find coterminal between 0 and 360. I could say find coterminals between 360 and 720, 720 and 1080. It just gets harder, okay? So you really just need to be comfortable when you look at something like a negative 45, that's the same thing as a 315 degree angle, okay? Because if you go in this direction, negative 45, that's the same as going in the other direction, 315. You end up in the same terminal side, okay? So guys, you've got time to take a look at the homework now. or you don't have to take on the beach. And there's a message. Can you figure out? Yeah, there you go.